Hello again, everyone. In today's lecture, we'll start with a new chapter from a new unit. Okay, from unit 3 as per the revised syllabus, which is the database management system. So, basic concept of a database management system you have already learned in your class 11. So, we will just uh, go in brief regarding all those concepts. Fine, it'll be like a revision for all of you. And then after that, we'll go to the actual concept of a database management system. So what you have is basically here before you start implementing your database management system. Before all that, what do you do is if you need to store say any data, for example, take the example of a college. Now, if the college has to store the details of all the students, say we have 10,000, say we have a total of 1,000 number of students in a college. So now if you have to save the details of all the students, say for example, for a student, you need a student name, you need to know have a student title and a student date of birth, a student contact number, a student stream, arts or science or commerce, say for example, a student address, fine, and many more details. For example, these are just few of the details. So for each and every student, what the college office will have to do is, what those people working in office will have to do is, they'll have to write down all those details in a paper. Fine, they'll have to maintain sort of a register, underline it if you need, write it, divide it into rows and column, and then they'll be maintaining those data like that. So now imagine if I have to send a copy of this information. Now I want to maintain one copy in the college office and another copy say in the library. So what you'll have to do now, you will have to maintain a separate file, right? So one file will be saved in the college office and another register have to be maintained in the library. So what you'll have to do here in this case, rather than having one register which is being shared, it's not possible, right? Because if people in library need a file, they cannot just run to the college office get a file. If people in the office need a file, they cannot just go to library. So they have to maintain a separate file, a separate register, I mean, for each and every student. Now besides that, if say the student goes to the college office, now they want to change their elective subject and they want to change it from computer to maths or vice versa. So what they'll do is they'll make the changes only in the college office. But what about the details that is stored in the library? That will remain unchanged. Fine. Okay. Now see here in 1 year, this is say for example, we have a total of say 10 different classes, for example. So you have 10 files. And next year you have another 10 files. Fine. In this regards, say in the next 20 years, what will happen? You'll have a bundle of files, right? So when you have all those files, you need to store it somewhere. Unlike now when you have a memory card, you need to store somewhere. So what do you do is you need to have a separate storeroom. Now okay, you keep all those files, you go save it, keep it in a storeroom. Now even if you have a room, what will happen is there is a possibility find that there's an accident in the room. Fire might break down the room, or I mean insect, mice, fine, may eat up all the paper and you lose all the files. Fine, that is another possibility. Now what will happen is that is also one problem. And now say if a student, another example, if a student comes back to the college say after 10 years, and now if this particular student wanted to get a particular certificate, fine. So what do? Is we'll have to go search for each and every paper. We go to the storeroom, open each and every file, each and every report, right? Each and every details that is being maintained. Fine. And there's a possibility that we might not even find the report that we are searching. So generation of report mean here is slow. I mean extracting the result, getting the result is very slow and it's very time consuming and very tiring. So that is actually the disadvantage of using the traditional way of storing a file. I mean writing the details of a student in a register. Fine. First thing what will happen is you'll be wasting paper. Everyone, if I have to have 10 copy of the same file, I have to have 10 register for that. Fine. So I'll be wasting paper. There will be lot of storage space, that means a separate storage space will be needed for all that. There will be more clerical work. So many people have to do the task, keep on writing the same data over and over again. Right? You don't write it just once, but you write it over and over again. Next one here is I have mentioned information is compartmentalized here. like the college office and the library, they are not sharing exactly the same file. That is why when changes is made in the college file, right, the changes will not be seen in the college library. Extracting the report, getting the result from there is very slow, and there is lack of security. If someone say come to the college office, share a page from the register, in that case what happens is there is no way of you getting back that data, right? That means replicating a lost data is very very difficult. A fire breaks into the storeroom, and you will have an old room somewhere in some corner. If fire breaks out there, fine, everything will be burned and you will lose all the data. So those are actually the disadvantage of using the traditional way of storing a file or storing a details, right? That is what we call as a file based data management. You manage those data, you write new data into it, you read it, you copy it, you share it with someone else, fine, you are managing those data. I mean, those sort of you can consider an information. Fine, information here will be in the form of a student details, fine. Okay, whereas what you have is now, if okay, you forget about the old ways of storing data. Now if you take the help of the technology, and what do you do is, that means you start storing data in your computer, and you have this what we call as an electronic filing system. You'll be maintaining exactly the same details, exactly the same thing, but in this particular case you will not be writing down all those data in a paper, that means in a register, you will be storing it in your computer. Now all the data that you will be storing here, they have to be interrelated. Like, say for example, if I store details about Shillong Commerce College, all the details here have to be only related to Shillong Commerce College. I cannot store the details of say Meghalaya government, and I cannot store the details of some other colleges. Each and every data that has to be stored here, they have to be interrelated with each other. And then more than one application here can be used, like one particular application here can be used by more than one people. We'll be coming back to this point. Now this data that we store in the database, right? I mean the database here is derived from the real object. We don't imagine this, that what we store in the database is actually derived from the real world. When I say a particular student, I cannot just imagine any imaginary student. It has to be exactly the details, the name, the age, right? The address, the contact number of an actual student who actually exists in the real world. Fine. So when you store data in a database, all the data have to be derived from the real world object. So they have to really exist. You cannot just fit in any random data. The data here will be stored in a single data repository. It's like having only one register here. And this register will be shared by everyone. Now since we are doing it electronically, it is possible. Unlike in the previous case where you have one copy that is being maintained by people in the office, another copy maintained by people in the library. Whereas here you have exactly only one file, and this file can be shared by everyone else. So if I make any changes to this file, if people from the office makes any changes to this file, the changes will also be seen by the people in the library. And this is the meaning of storing a single data repository using a centralized control of data. Now, in order to create your database means it is a method, fine, it is a collection of data that you will be storing. How you store it, rows, column, all that, what are the details, how exactly you are going to perform those operations, fine. So, those are your database. Now, in order to create a database, you need a software. Say, for example, if you want to write something in your Word, and if you want to create a text document, you need a software, right, to do that. You want to play some music, just having a music is not sufficient. You need a software for that, right? So likewise here, in order to create a data, in order to save a data, in order to perform all those operations in the data, what you need to do is you need a software. So that is when your database management system software comes into the picture. DBMS here, it is a software that manages the database structure, fine. That is, it enables the user to you can add new data into a file, you can store data into a file, whatever already data is available, you can always edit it, you can modify it, you can extract the data. I mean, you can retrieve information from the database, and then you can even control access to the data stored in the database. I mean, you can provide permission as to who can access the data, who have the right to see the data. Say you have the right to edit the data. That is the meaning of having control access to the data stored in a database. And this data that I've already mentioned in the previous slide, this data here can be shared by multiple applications. You have exactly only one file and it can be shared by many people. Say for example, if it's a database that is being maintained by the college. Fine, now if the government of Meghalaya needs the details of the student studying in Shillong Commerce College in the year 2020 to 21. So what happens is we can easily share the details of the student. I don't have to give my database to the government of Meghalaya, but I can provide the means to access the college, that means the college database. So you will have exactly only one database, and more than one person or more than one application in this particular case can share the same database. And you don't have to have many copies, it's just one copy shared by everyone. Now, the main advantage of using a database management system is that you don't have to understand what exactly all the technicalities that you need to learn, all the technicalities that you need to maintain in order to create all those row, column, to draw a table, to add data, how to retrieve data. You don't have to understand all that. Right? So it hides the database internal complexity from the user. In your case, or you want to add data, you just type it, add it, and it'll be added there. You want to just read the data from there, fine. It's like when you create a new account or when you register into a particular account. So what you need to do, you don't have to understand, right, how things works at the background. What you need to do is when you are asked for your name, you just enter your name, you just enter your details, that's it. So this is how your database management system works. Fine, it hides the database internal complexity, how it is working exactly, all the technical stuff that is going on in the background. The user don't have to worry about all that. Right? And your database management system is a system software. You have already learned about the different types of software in your class 11, which is the application software and the system software. So when we talk about the system software, we are talking about a software which is a general purpose software. It does not carry out only one very specific task, but it performs a general. It is designed, to carry out a general purpose, or to perform more than one task. That is the meaning of your system software. Now, few of the area where the database management system is being implemented. Fine. Computerized library system. Okay, now even in the college we have a computerized library system. You don't need to use paper anymore. Everything will be updated in the technology, in the database. Your ATM machine, automated teller system, online reservation. That is why no matter where you are located, you can always carry out your online reservation, right? Whether it's a train reservation, whether it's a plane reservation, nowadays whether it's even a bus reservation, a hotel reservation. Right? So you can carry out your reservation from any place, irrespective of where you're located. You don't have to go to the actual place now, to the bus station, in order to reserve a ticket. But from where you're sitting, okay, right from home, you can carry out the reservation. And there will be only one database that is shared here. Fine. And everyone will be using that. That is why there is no confusion. If a particular ticket, say, if we have ticket number 5, if it has been allotted to me when I book my ticket, so it will show to everyone that this 5 have already been reserved. So the same 5 will not be allotted to anyone else. So this confusion will not be there. Okay, one best example will be your online banking. Fine, or any banking system database that is being maintained by a banking system. That is why no matter where you withdraw your money, respective of from which ATM, which branch you withdraw your money, fine, all the details will be updated to your home account. Where exactly your account is located. So this is the introduction of what a database and a database management system is all about. We'll stop here for today. Okay, we'll continue with the actual concept of a database management system in the next lecture. Thank you very much.